Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we'd like to welcome you to today's show where we're going to get into Elizabeth April, Bruce Lipton, and Jesus. John is going to tell us more about it.
This week, through connection to the Galactic Federation, we explore subterfuge that's been employed against humanity by those shadowy controlling entities. It's designed to keep our vibrational frequency low and out of harmony with who we are, which in turn creates many health issues. However, the good news is that it is not them that hold the power. As Dr. Bruce Lipton and our off-world friends tell us, the power lies within each of us. But in order to exercise that power, we need to do so with conscious awareness. And stepping into your power does not mean stepping into religion. Indeed, religion is not the answer. It is part of the problem. Just ask Jesus. We've always had the power of creation at our disposal, and we have all been exercising it. But of course, there is a huge difference between conscious creation and unconscious creation. In this game of life, we've been conditioned to give our power away to these controlling entities. But as Jesus tells us, it is time to joyfully access our inner Christ. All wisdom from our show is then encapsulated into another wonderful Jolé Gabrielle guided meditation to help us embody these messages. There's some really important messages out there. And on the face of it, one of those messages sounds quite scary, but in reality, it's actually super empowering because that is when we start to realize that we hold all the cards as awakened humanity. And there's a message there that can be spread out far and wide. And talking about spreading a message far and wide, as always, we appreciate it if you can like, share, and subscribe this video, assuming that you like what we do, because it's important to get the message out there. We know that we don't really match up with the YouTube algorithm, so it doesn't get advertised beyond whatever we can do. So that is much, much appreciated. And again, drop any comments that along the way as well with any thoughts or questions. And as ever, we have the newsletter going out tomorrow. What we've started doing, here's a good point, right? So we've started breaking out the weekly show. We do the edited version of this, but we also break it out into sections so that instead of, people sitting through like a show that might be an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes, whatever, which can put people off. So you've got like a little section of it that might only be 4 minutes long, or another section that might be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but it's a lot more digestible by those who maybe don't have that much time to spare. So we're going to include that on the newsletter. Anybody who wants to be on our newsletter distribution list, send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life and I'll make sure you go on our distribution list for that. But certainly all the breakout videos and everything are on our Elevated Planet channel. So anybody who's subscribed to that, you will be able to access any of them regardless. And we have a website under development at the moment, and within that will be also another place where you can access all our videos and a lot more besides, because there's big plans as to where this all goes in the future, and it's going to be beautiful. And also, just to mention that this is a donation-based channel, because this is how we're looking to keep our heads above water financially, is to accept any donations that you can share. And we understand that the state of the world economically at the moment doesn't always allow people to do that, and we completely understand. But for anybody who can, and a quick shout out to Cecilia for the repeat donation last week, that is really, really appreciated. So anybody, there is a link, a PayPal link in the description of this video where we can receive any donations, small or large. The cost of a cup of tea is perfectly fine, right? So that leads us into where we're going with the show today. And of course, start off by saying a happy summer solstice to all, because this is a very special day. This is a day of activation. This is a day when, by focusing and going within, we can start to, I don't know, we're talking about, for the crystalline DNA that we are evolving into. That is where we're heading, so these are key energetic points, not just today, but in, like either side of this. It's a key activation gateway into all these things. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that and to, if you can take the time to do your meditations and all that kind of thing, we've got loads of them that Jolé have done that are on the channel. So it's all good. But yeah, happy summer solstice to all. And for today's show, we have we're going to start with Elizabeth April. And for those who are less familiar with what Elizabeth does, you will be if you watch this on a regular basis, but you will know that she is a remote viewer and she has a fantastic talent for this. And she is able to go into various parts. I mean, it's amazing what she's uncovered. Now, okay, for some people, you may not really believe that people can do remote view where they actually leave with their astral body and go to different places. And in her case, for this particular one, it comes from the GFL, the Galactic Federation meeting that she has every month on the Galactic Federation mothership, which again may sound really weird. And she speaks to extraterrestrials who are working to help humanity through this time of evolution, this shift of the ages, helping us to understand how powerful we are. And it really is enormously uplifting to hear what has to be said. But there's a lot of warning signs that come along the way, awareness points, if you like. And that's where we're going today with this. So that's what Elizabeth does. She's a real amazing starseed. And for those who can't really wrap their head around it, don't worry about it. Just listen to the words, listen to the wisdom, listen to how you would deem its authenticity when you listen to how this is put across. I think that's the important thing, and judge it for yourself. You know, we're all unique aspects of divine creation and we're all diverse for a reason. So I think that is important to acknowledge and understand that different people's version of reality is their sovereign right. So we never ask you to believe what we believe. We just share our truth and leave you to determine that for yourself. Before I hit the button, Jolé, what would you care to add?
Yes, I kind of second your emotion is to stay neutral watching some of this because, like I say, I'm also representing all of you out there that are skeptics in this area. However, I realize how important it is to open up. I mean, this universe is too vast to believe that we are the only ones here. And not only that, that people are interpreting life the same way that we are. I believe that there are people out there who are speaking to extraterrestrials. And even though that is a part of me is like, yeah, right. You know, I'm willing to give it a shot and be neutral because the breadcrumbs are there. We got those crop circles. We have portals. We have all of this evidence that there's something out there beyond what we see and feel on a regular basis. So let's kind of get into it because it could be really fun and exciting. And as John said, it could actually activate something within us.
Yes, absolutely, it can. And right, I'm going to hit the button. First off, thank you, Kathleen, to all the men out there. Happy Father's Day, she says, for the dads out
Yes.
there. So,
Oh, yeah. Happy
yay,
Father's
happy
Day
Father's Day.
in
Over to you.
America. But I want to say, connecting with the good stuff. I want to make it clear that we're talking about light-based energy. We're not trying to get into anything malevolent.
No,
Okay?
absolutely. Because it does exist. We know that. We're
Yes.
not naive, but at the end of the day, you can soon tell the difference. So, okay, right. We'll go to that first section now. So if you bear with me a second, we are going to switch screens.
This is Bukh-Ta, this way. She is a Suri being, and they're super rare. I've only ever met her. They're kind of aquatic, as you can tell, and she is a hybrid biologist. She's actually one of the first beings that I met back in 2020. And so immediately, so I'm hovering outside of the ship, immediately I'm going right down into her laboratory. So she works in a laboratory, and she knows everything that there is to know about, especially humans and our hybrid biology. So immediately, so she's got these like beakers in front of her, and immediately she's talking about water. Now, if you know, and it's actually never really put it together, but she's an aquatic being. She talks about water often, and she usually talks about health often, health and water.
So, to summarize Bukh-Ta's initial slice of awareness to humanity, she drew our attention to the fact that there are shadowy entities that are creating synthetically produced low vibrational frequencies to mess with our harmonic alignment, to lower our vibrational frequency, affect our health, our thoughts, and this all influences the water that is in our bodies. However, there are also positive influences out there too from cosmic sources. Bukh-Ta explained that the important thing to appreciate is that our own mind can override any of these external frequencies. So in reality, through conscious awareness, we have the power by sending the right frequencies to the water in our cells, as this will determine the health of the cells themselves. And to alleviate any doubt as to the validity of this, we have cellular biologist extraordinaire Dr. Bruce Lipton.
People say, okay, Bruce, you're studying cells in a plastic petri dish. What does that have to do with me? It doesn't make a difference to the cell if it's in a plastic dish or a skin dish. It still responds to environmental signals. So the environment is controlling the cells. But between the environment and the cells is the mind, and that does interpretation. If you open your eyes and see someone you love, your mind interprets love. And you release beautiful chemicals, dopamine for pleasure, oxytocin for bonding. If I take the chemicals from a brain that perceives love and put them into a plastic petri dish, the cells grow beautifully. If I take the chemicals from a brain that perceives fear, the cells stop growing and they start dying. So you're the one whose thoughts change the chemistry, and the chemistry controls the genetics. So all of a sudden, you're not a victim of your genes, you're the master of your genes.
So, we can choose to be consciously proactive in managing our cellular health and well-being through our intentions with gratitude, self-love, joy, kindness, and all those high-frequency emotions that mean that your life becomes blissful regardless of any shadowy skullduggery going on in the background. And, wait for it, there is another collective advantage to be gained from this personal practice too. Bukh-Ta explained that when we urinate, our thoughts go back to the collective. So now we are helping to awaken the world around us, one pee at a time. How good is that? A high-frequency bathroom break right there. And there was one last important message Bukh-Ta had to share, and for that one, we go back to Elizabeth for further GFL wisdom to guide humanity.
So she's scanning her body, right? And she's showing me that she's energetically scanning her body. And I'm like, okay, cool. You're scanning your body. What do you want us to know about that? And she said that right now in particular, we're doing a lot of release, energetic release and energetic purge, which, hey, have you been tired? Have you been having restless sleeps? Have you been nauseous? Have you have headaches? Have you had weird skin conditions? Have you had pains in your body? Great. You're just releasing some toxic shit. So she's like, okay, great. Tell us something we don't know. So I said to her, okay, not everyone is sort of able to just tap into their energy field and do a little energy scan and be like, yep, it's all stuck in my left shoulder. So I say, can you be a little bit more practical? Like a lot of humans are way too distracted and like busy sort of fighting for their lives in this inflation economy to just pay for eggs, let alone freaking energetically scan their bodies. Sorry, I'm getting a little heated. Anyway, so she said that the most practical advice she can give us with energy scans is to target the area of our body that is in the most pain. She said, so she referenced pain, but I'll kind of follow that up with, if you have a weird eye twitch, if you have a weird skin rash in a certain area of your body, if you all of a sudden break out in a bunch of acne, like on your stomach or back or something, like it's clearly an area of your body that you're having issues, and it's clearly an area of your body that there's energy stuck, and then most likely energy releasing, especially with pain. It's just energy releasing. But if we resist the pain or we distract ourselves from the pain, we actually elongate the process of energetic release. So she said, pinpoint those areas, pinpoint the problem area. You don't have to like visually be able to tap into your auric field. Obviously that helps because you can go a lot deeper before the pain arises. You can find the issues. You can go seek out an energy healer for that as well, if you so desire, but go to the most obvious spot in your body. And then she said, blast it with white light energy. So same thing. I sort of followed up with her and I said, you know, Bukh-Ta, like, it's nice to just be like, white light, but it's like, how did I don't know. I kind of pushed back and I was like, sometimes just blasting something and you're thinking that you're doing it with white light, like that's not enough. It's not practical. People can't connect to that or relate to that. Like, how would you once again make that more practical or applicable? And here's what she said, and this is amazing advice. I fucking love this advice. She said, find something, anything, one thing, okay, that you personally feel unconditional love for and extraordinarily grateful for. And I don't know why my example is always a blooming flower. I don't know why. And obviously I love my son and like I feel unconditional love towards him and like, you know, so many other aspects of my life, but there's something so non-ego, non-emotional, just sort of objectively beautiful and graceful and magical and perfect within the composition of a blooming flower. For me, I can easily find unconditional love and gratitude for that moment, that flower, that plant, taking that energy and just creating that. She said, pinpoint the frequency of unconditional love in that thing or that person or whatever, okay? Apply that same frequency and blast that frequency into the problem area of your body. Love it. Love it. I love that advice so much.
So Bukh-Ta comes out with some really important and empowering information there. And it's interesting because, you know, we know that from a cellular perspective or from a human body perspective, 60%, on average, 60% of our body is water. Okay. So when something messes with the frequency of the water that is in our body, you can understand how it creates, disharmony in the body structure and dis-ease in the body as well. So I think this is really important. So if there's energies out there that are really messing with this, and interestingly, I have a very specific example of this. In fact, I uploaded the video for this today. It's only literally a minute long. And it's in the description below. But it talks about 5G, okay, and the impact on water. And it just gives very specific evidence of how water changes when it's close to a 5G tower. And the water is effectively destroyed, right? So from being a living, conscious, like structured, coherent water, as you would find with rainwater and any water that's not been messed with and added chemicals to. Okay, so there's just one way. Okay, there are many ways in which they can lower the frequency, but we are the master of our genes. We are the master of the input that goes in. We have the ability to override all the dark agendas that's out there. So whether you believe it or not, this is kind of like this is science that's been around for quite a long time. Because one of the things that I'm very aware, actually, and this came, I think last Sunday, I got the latest newsletter from Faye Ward, who is one of our community who lives on the south coast of England, and she does healing, sound healings. She does a ladies' circle kind of thing for various healing methodologies that she exercises. And I noticed on the newsletter that, in fact, I'm going to put the image up to show you. Right. So this is Faye. This is her at a local primary school recently, where she got to talk about the Professor Masaru Emoto, who basically wrote this book, I believe, in the 1990s, which was about the hidden messages in the water. And he did various scientific experiments that showed that the water reacts to the frequency that goes into it. So, for instance, it can represent compassion, as you can see in that on the left-hand side of the top slides. Thank you, wisdom. It reflects it by changing the shape of the pattern of if you freeze the water. And again, that's what that 5G one talks to as well. That one I just mentioned about the water. So this is not new, but at the same time, it's real. There are various things that really do mess with the structure of the water that is a big part of who you are. I mean, just imagine how important it is. Like for babies, they are 75% water. So if there is toxic water in the environment, because sometimes those 5G masts are actually on the side of water towers. So whatever water is coming out of those water towers is already kind of toxic. So it's important that we know that we have the power to change this. And it's also, and we'll just shift that out of the way for now. Thank you, Faye. And oh, I was going to mention as well, I'm going to put the link to her newsletter in our newsletter tomorrow, because I think it's good for people to actually read through the article that she's put in there, because she talks about her own personal practice, which actually there's elements of that which I must admit I have incorporated already into my personal practice, because even if I'm having a cup of tea, I will spend time putting really positive energy into that cup of tea. Gratitude, love, so or the drink of water. Say, for instance, here I have my bottle here, which I use always constantly topping up. But that's the chalice well symbol there from over in Glastonbury. I think that helps. That's a high frequency because that's a vortex point on the planet, a very powerful vortex point. So I kind of like, and a lot of people, and Faye is one of them, and I know Aveen, the healer over in Northern Ireland. She has a bottle festooned with words of love, of joy, of, personal power, whatever it is, right? Because that actually does reflect in the water. Now, on a mainstream basis, that sounds like nonsense. But if you check out the work of Masaru Emoto, you will find how the scientist that he was as a professor proved beyond doubt that this is true. And you can even try it for yourself. It's not even that difficult. You take spring water, and I have spring water all the time. We also have on there a little light code device as well, which came from the Crystal Water Experience ladies that I interviewed maybe a year and a bit ago, because they developed these light codes around this, because they also realized that this was something that was needed. And they go around the country teaching all about this and empowering people to kind of educate others about how you can very easily move your water back into this structured and coherent form, which is really working well with your cells. But regardless, you can still bring out those positive emotions, that intent that is cleansing the cells, that is cleansing the water in the cells. And you'll find it will bring you better health. No longer will you have to worry about all this stuff out there that is being foisted on humanity. It's part of the test. It's part of the test, because it's all about conscious awareness and taking ownership and being able to, bring your own, physicality into balance and into perfect harmony through the power of your own intentions. It sounds so simple that it sounds that it can't be true. But that's the thing. So many things about spiritual awakening is so simple. And it's actually trying to make things more complex that takes you off course. So keeping it simple, if it's majorly complex and all the rest of it, chances are you're being pushed in the wrong direction. So that's all I would say with that. But I want to bring Jolé back in for your thoughts on this.
Oh, I agree with you, John. But we also have to honor the fact, and not but, we also have to honor the fact that there's a lot of programming coming in. So it's up to us as we curate our thoughts and our environment to really decide where our boundaries lie with what external, I guess, wisdom and knowledge we allow in, or what external, what do you call that when your senses are going? So whatever
Yeah.
external
It's
feelings you're,
discernment. It's consciousness
yes,
discernment, isn't it?
exactly. So have discernment. Thank you, John, as to what you are letting in your mind, body, and spirit, and pay attention to yourself, because what's within, oh, like this isn't good for me, like you'll feel it. So honor that as well and work to question what it is that you are bringing over from the past, because this also gets in the way of keeping things simple. Some of the things that our parents did, or our brothers and sisters, maybe they're not working for us because we are on the path of breaking generational curses. Now is the time. So pay attention, is all I have to say. Exercise and practice opening that third eye, and how does it feel in the body? These are some of the ways which you can kind of lead or journey towards simplicity. If it's confusing you and it doesn't feel right, maybe it's time to pare down a little bit. And even spiritually as well as financially, we always want to live beneath our means or below our means, and I don't mean that stay at a high vibration, but be humble is what I'm trying to say with what's going on. So don't blame yourself, maybe don't blame external things, but work with what you have to be in the solution, to solve the problem, because that victim programming is not really working for us anymore, right? What does that mean? Keep it simple.
Yeah. Yeah. And basically, anything that drives you towards fear typically is something that's not serving you. Okay, so
Yeah.
I have a thing, yeah, like local newspaper and things. I wanted to support them when I came back to the UK back in 2020. So I thought, I'm gonna start doing that because I think it's great to have a local newspaper for our city. And then I kind of got to a point. I even wrote to the editor to say I'm only going to actually read the newspaper if I see something on the newspaper that is not fear-based, right?
Yeah.
I could never open it. And in fact, even the editor came back to me and they actually published a full center spread article on it, which was like a frivolous story because it was uplifting. But on the front of the newspaper, it had like literally, they had me on the top half of the front page as well. And then underneath, something like wife hacked to death with machete, right? And you think, no.
Yeah, that's not what
You
I
just,
meant, right?
you just kind of realize that the media, generally speaking, cannot get away from the fact that, it's the fear that sells.
Yeah.
And, whether that's newspapers or whether that's, sort of like the,
Exactly. A subliminal, all of that. And so
Mm,
some of the ways to get rid of that, and out of the body is to ground, send that, turn that information or that trauma, a color, flush it out of your body, fill up with gold, clean out the center of your head, make it a practice. What serves you? This thought. You stop in the moment, like, is this true? Does this serve me? Let me get rid of that and think of the opposite, the positive opposite. So there are ways to start making your life simple, but it is always an internal job.
yes. Yes, fantastic. Okay, well, thank you for that. Great
Yes,
to
of
have the
course.
tools of the trade to help us through these things. Do you think it's time to hit the button for the next piece?
Yes, let's do that.
So we're going back to the Galactic Federation. You'll be aware if you saw the show last week that part of what Elizabeth did when she did her GFL summit, she also tuned into Jesus for just to find out what information was going to come through, and we included a bit of that last week. This is a different section of the same thing, and she's starting off explaining how she bubbles herself and this sort of thing to cope with the emotion of actually connecting with a divine master of anyway. So we'll just basically switch screens and you'll see what I mean. But this is super empowering. So we'll see you on the other side.
Also, it's funny too, because when I went up to him, I had to bubble myself. The reason why I bubble myself around Jesus is because if I were to feel the extent of the frequency that he has, I would just be crying. Like I would actually just be bawling my eyes out, which I've done pretty much in almost every interaction with Jesus. I just cry a lot because the unconditional love coming off of that being is so intense. It's unlike anything you've ever felt in your entire life. It's wild. Okay. So I was there. I didn't really have to ask him a question, but he showed me, he brought my awareness over to this like other section of him. Okay. And it was like a wisp, you could call it, right? One of these like sort of golden tentacles coming off of him. And then there's this whole group of souls. Like we're talking like millions of souls that were all connected, my size, itty bitty, right? All connected to the end of this like wisp. And some of them are popping like in and out, right? So he brings my attention over to this group of beings or group of astral bodies or something. And I'm like, what is that? Like, what are you calling my attention to? And he said, these are the people on planet Earth who believe in me, right? Jesus. I said, okay. He said that the problem is that they believe in me, but they don't believe they are me. And as he said that, there was this moment of sort of moving myself, not sort of outside of him, sort of connected to a wisp, but then like moving myself to inside of this golden energy sphere, and how different that was of, I believe in you, protect me, help me, save me, but I'll never be you. And he said that right now, people on earth need to drop their religious associations in order to fully understand the message that he came here to share, which is that he is us. We are him. And I don't know what a Christian or a devout Catholic would say to that. I almost feel like they would think that that would be blasphemy, to say that we are Jesus, that he is us, that we are God, that God is us. Okay. Let me go back and ask him about sort of Christ consciousness coming back, Jesus coming back, the time that we're in right now. I don't know if I want to ask him, like, what do we do to become more like you? Because the biggest thing he said is like, you have to drop the religion. Like you have to drop the belief that's separating us, right? Which is fascinating. I mean, nothing new, but cool coming from the man, coming from the source. All right, cool. 1 second. Okay, so he talked about God spark. He said that each one of us need to find our God spark, which I've never really heard it. I've never really heard it like that, God spark. So, I mean, I guess he's implying it's the spark of God within us. It's the soul within us. It's the light. It's the source within us. We have to find our God spark. And I said, well, how do we do that? And he said that we have to start seeing ourselves as the creator. And the way that he sort of laid that out was like manifestation, like in its like simplest terms, it's how we influence the reality around us to manifest what it is that we want in our life. But then also he was talking about parents and like giving birth and having children. Like that is like the most iconic example of being the creator. We are the creator. We are the creator of life here on this planet. And so we forget that. We forget that we create things in a simpler form. It's like we go to work and we get a paycheck and we buy stuff and we're creating through that process, or this video and this output we're outputting, we're creating, And so much of our life, and I'm just adding this, he didn't say this, but so much of our life is focused on the consumption. we're so consumed by everything, especially distraction and fear, that we forget that we are this creator. And he said that we need to remember and bring back our God spark by reminding ourselves of being the creator of this reality, of this life, of choosing to be here in this body with these hands and these five senses and this touch and feel and smell and taste and all of the things. And he said that we have to remember ourselves as the God, as the Jesus, as the creator, as this God spark, but without the attachment. I think the theme here, right, for this Galactic Federation Summit is that this is the time. This is the time that everything is changing and shifting, and we are being prompted to take this radical responsibility for ourselves, for the reality that we're creating, for the life that we're living. Stop giving your power away to your in-laws. Stop giving your power away to the government. Stop giving your power away to the big banks. Stop giving your power away to your boss or your spouse or AI. Everything in this reality is a mere reflection of you. And if you're not right internally, if you're not aligned, if you're not harmonious, if you're not full of unconditional love and gratitude for the simple fact of being alive, then you're missing the point. Everything in this world right now is here, playing out to lead us back to the only thing that truly exists, which is you, as a God spark, as a fractal of the whole. Everything you see around you is just a fever dream for your soul. The more enjoyment you find in the little things, the more gratitude you have for the simplest expressions, the more enjoyment you bring, the more abundance you attract. Whatever you focus on right now is being amplified. So be hyper vigilant of your mindset. Be hyper aware of your heart space. Bring discernment to the people in your life that lift you up and the people in your life that bring you down. Because every time you choose to have that person around, to take that action, to have that thought, you're making a choice in love or fear. And that's determining every other timeline you hop into that day, that week, that month. This reality is a snowball effect. And if you were to take the time once a day, every day, you can change your entire life. You can truly wake up in a different reality. One where you are provided for, where you are protected, where you are abundant, where you are safe, where you have joy and happiness. And you know what? There will be challenge. We live in a lower frequency full of polarity. But when that challenge happens, you can look at it with ease and grace and gratitude rather than reaction and attachment and aversion and fear and anxiety. You are the creator of this reality. And the more you understand that, the easier it will be to step into that role and create the life that you deserve to live. So grateful. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you for holding space for this, because I get so much out of it too. And despite the tears, I learn something new every single time. And I just feel so, yeah, so enlightened. And you guys are holding space for me just as much as I'm holding space for you. We are in this together, and what a fucking incredible time to be alive right here, right now. The precipice of the greatest awakening humanity has ever seen. And we are on the verge of it, and we are in the know. So do something with it. Change your life for the better. Take that leap of faith. I promise you, there are only good things waiting on the other side of change. All right. Love you guys so much. Bye for now.
So we are the creators of our reality, right? That, to me, there is no doubt about that. The problem has been, for, let's face it, we've got 8.2 billion people on the planet. How many are aware that they have created their reality, right? Because it's something I had no idea about. Because I was an unconscious creator of my reality rather than a conscious creator of my reality. And a vast majority of people on the planet actually fall into that sort of theme, which is why when Jolé and I were looking at this a while ago, we thought, okay, well, let's do this moon alchemy meditation thing. And this is exactly what Elizabeth is alluding to. Is not specifically our program here, but nevertheless, it's actually finding a way of raising your frequency, of creating a vision of what you want your reality to be. So rather than being an unconscious creator, you create your new reality based off what you do want. And the interesting thing is, like, our words, spoken words, have power. They carry a vibration. And we know that, again, as we were talking about in that first part there with Bukh-Ta, right, we can affect our own physical structure just by, showing it the love, the joy, the gratitude. It changes everything. It produces, as Bruce Lipton says, it produces those beautiful chemicals, dopamine for pleasure and oxytocin for bonding. It's just, that is exactly what happens. And yet the opposite side of that is when we are, in that fear mode, in division mode, in anger and all the rest of it. That is when we are kind of bringing that disharmony and dis-ease in. So we kind of worked away between us, and Jolé has laid, she does these fantastic meditations to help to build us into it. The important thing with creating your reality, it's the vibration of your words that count, right? So the way we do it, we do a Zoom call, we do a recording of you recounting exactly what your own version of a world of unspeakable beauty looks like. Because that is the important point, right? This is about you. It's not about us, it's about you. That is where it comes first and foremost. So then we curate it into a couple of different meditations, one which is a very short form, so that, when you're getting up in the morning, you've got 10 minutes to spare, you can actually listen to this. But what you're doing is you're being led into the meditation. You hear your own words about this, and it's amazing. I love doing it. We have a couple of versions of our own now, and every time I listen to it, it is so uplifting, because it talks about the vision for where Elevated Planet is going, and my own personal life as well. And I know how beautiful it is because I've been there. Every time I listen to that, I am transported to that future point, which I know is being manifested. And the other thing that we do with this, not only do you get two versions of the meditation for yourself, which is all privately yours, okay? Nobody else can access them. But then we also work it around the moon cycles, okay? Because the calendar is 12 months for a reason, because it actually diminishes us. There is supposed to be, and there always were, 13 months in the year, okay? Go back a couple of hundred years ago, or 250 years ago, it all changed. And it was changed because it takes us out of the energetic cycle. The fact is, the moon synchronicities, knowing when to manifest, knowing when it reaches that heightened point where you immerse yourself in the feeling of a wish fulfilled and all those positive superpowers of ours. We have superpowers. Our superpowers are, our emotion, our imagination, it's gratitude, it's love, it's playfulness, it's laughter, it's forgiveness, it's joy. All those things. It's so much fun to, like you build that into your piece that you do, right? You want to feel as if that wish is fulfilled. So you always get, whenever you hear it, you get that knocking on the door every single day. There's also a longer version, which also has a chakra cleansing aspect to it as well. So if you have 25 minutes to half an hour to spare, you can do that where you go through your entire chakras and you kind of like Jolé does her cleansing meditation, but you're still, in the middle of it all is you. So it's really super powerful. We're doing it on the basis of we're actually working on a journal that backs this up as well, which will be useful. But for now, we just do a WhatsApp group with you, me, Jolé, to kind of keep you guided through that first 28-day moon phase, because every moon phase is 28 days. You start off on the new moon, you work all your way up to the full moon, then you go through the waning phase, which is where you're releasing energies that no longer serve. So you get a different meditation for that, and we take you through that. After that, you can repeat it for yourself, or, if you want to keep working with us, you can do. All done, we ask for a donation. That's all. Just ask for a donation to Elevated Planet to do that. Suggested donation is $111, but it doesn't have to be. We don't want price to get in the way of this. If you're interested, drop me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life. But first and foremost, let's hear what Jolé has to add to that, because she is a hugely important part of this.
Yes. Thank you, John. It just really gets into the subconscious mind, because I like to remind people that if we look at it and we compare it to modern technology, the subconscious mind would be the hardware or the programming that's in the CPU or the desktop. And then the monitor is just the conscious mind. It's what you go through all day. So this meditation allows you to dig in to the place where it matters, which is a theta brainwave in the subconscious mind, which then does that reprogramming in a very permanent way. It's like it really pivots you, especially when you put it into practice on a daily basis. The needle really moves because you're working with science and you're merging it with spirituality. So it's a win-win. And we're just really humbled and grateful to be able to present this, because it came to me as a gift, as something that could really help move us forward, as well as help transform mankind.
Mm,
So it truly is a blessing.
yes. Yeah, it really is that God spark activation that we've just heard
Yes.
about, right?
Absolutely. And it also allows us to keep it simple, because who are we hearing? Ourselves. What are we doing? We're just meditating, and we're staying in this focus of raising our vibration so that we can meet our goals at their level. Think about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. As I say, anybody who has an interest, just send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life and I can give you more information, and happy to share. And we love helping people on this journey. And we've got a bunch of people out there at the moment who are already going through it. And, I think this is going to be huge for a lot of people. We can change, as Elizabeth said, we can change our reality to exactly what we're looking for. So. Yeah, and one other thing I wanted to mention actually is about the church thing, right? So I would say, like, my interpretation of this is the church building itself is not a bad thing. Having a community is not a bad thing, because in fact, we got a mention here from one of our community today about agape, right? And
Mhm.
offering love and blessings and everything, which is fantastic. And, I'm a huge fan of Dr. Michael Beckwith, and I know that you
Yeah.
too, right?
Yes, I love their Easter service, and they have a 6 a.m. meditation service. Oh my God, chef's kiss. So definitely a place to go that is taking spirituality in community. And it's like, it's not, to me, it's not a religious thing. It's like an uplifting spiritual, you are God, tap into that thing. And that is why agape really works well for me, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's just the it's the what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that it is the doctrine. and the distortion that is the problem in
Yes.
religions. It's been a
Yes.
control agenda for thousands of years. It's a control
Yeah.
agenda. But whilst ever we're looking out in community and identifying the fact that we are all God sparks, right? Every single
Yeah.
person out there is an aspect of the divine, which stops us from judging against people because, there by the grace of God, that could be us, right?
Yes. Yes.
At the same time, it's a great place for community. So yeah, we're totally up for that. And thank you to everybody for the comments that you've made. And
Yes. Thank you.
yeah. So what do you think? Is it that time now to get into our meditation?
Yes. Let's move forward.
Okay. Right. So basically we've got Elizabeth just going through a last little piece there, which helps to guide us in, gets us into that frequency for the meditation that is to follow. So bear with me a second. We will switch screens.
Whatever you focus on right now is being amplified. So be hyper vigilant of your mindset. Be hyper aware of your heart space. Bring discernment to the people in your life that lift you up and the people in your life that bring you down. Because every time you choose to have that person around, to take that action, to have that thought, you're making a choice in love or fear. And that's determining every other timeline you hop into that day, that week, that month. This reality is a snowball effect. And if you were to take the time once a day, every day, you can change your entire life. You can truly wake up in a different reality. One where you are provided for, where you are protected, where you are abundant, where you are safe, where you have joy and happiness. And you know what? There will be challenge. We live in a lower frequency full of polarity. But when that challenge happens, you can look at it with ease and grace and gratitude rather than reaction and attachment and aversion and fear and anxiety. You are the creator of this reality. And the more you understand that, the easier it will be to step into that role and create the life that you deserve to live.
Take a deep breath in. As you put your feet flat on the floor, your palms face up on your thighs. Close your eyes and begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body. Command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath. As you bring your awareness between your sit bones and visualize a grounding cord of a natural earth element of your choosing, 6 inches in diameter, connected to your sit bones and moving through the layers of Mother Earth and her unconditional love that she has for you and humanity. As you root yourself into her core, receiving all of her nutrients, her love, her positive energy, you pull your aura in to be 1.5 feet around you as those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanket the inside and the outside of your grounding cord. Your higher self, call it back. It is commanded, my higher self, stand at the power position at a comfortable distance above my crown. Snap in your astral body by saying, it is commanded, my astral body snaps into my physical body. Feet in feet, knees and knees, hips and hips, hands and hands, elbows and elbows, shoulders and shoulders, and head and head, fitting inside of us like a hand fits inside of a glove. Your soul architecture is back. It's in formation. As you take a deep breath in and visualize your feet opening like the lens of a camera, the bottoms of them, calling in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you, pooling into the bottoms of your feet. Your toenails get some of that action too, right? Pull in that earth energy. Let the toenails feel it as it then begins to move up the side channels of your legs, medial and lateral. 15% is doing its thing as you bring your awareness to your crown. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, open your crown like the lens of a camera. And that signals 85% cosmic gold life force energy. Visualize it cascading down from the heavens, raining down on your higher self, energizing, filling it with life, wellness, reprogramming the DNA on a master level, on another plane, all dimensions. As a golden sun is then created above your higher self, as the rest of this essence then moves into your crown, 85% of it moving through the brain, the folds, clearing out the folds that are negative, that create limited thoughts and beliefs, opening up the synapses that fire even stronger, and those neurotransmitters and those folds that support your purpose and your journey. So sit there for a minute and visualize this gold light etching positive neurotransmitters and folds and sparks, the God spark, opening up those synapses, having them fire in the highest and most loving way for you on your journey. As this essence then moves down into the neck, and it balances the hormones, lowering the cortisol, regulating it, allowing for that thyroid and those hormones that tell our body what to do, every cell of our body, regulating, moving out disease and illness, reprogramming the body for health and wellness as it moves down into the arms of creativity, encouraging us to plant that garden and write that book and cook a nutritious meal and hug our neighbor, pet the dog, and pick up the child and kiss it. Creativity is so beautiful as it moves into the heart, and there's just so much unconditional love pouring through your body and all the cells, just waking them up, creating such a worthiness pattern within us. Because we have Yeshua the Messiah, and that energy, that being possessed, we possess as well. As we learn to digest life with grace and ease, as this gold light moves into our stomach and brings in all the solutions and the guts to take the action, as it moves down into the first chakra, mixing in with that earth energy, as that superpowered earth energy mixing in with that cosmic gold life force energy, moves down the legs, powering our feet to move, our legs to jump, move forward, power those feet, those thighs, the power of our legs to move us forward on our journey and to help us manifest. So allow for the essence of Mother Earth and that 85% cosmic gold to move out any childhood trauma, turn it a color, any suffering, any bullying, any abuse, any trauma that is from your past childhood, we're going to turn it a bright red and we're going to see it go down our grounding cord. That essence, I guess it's going to move up. It's going to do a U-turn down the grounding cord. Mother Earth and that gold light cosmic energy moves it down, chases it all the way down into Mother Earth, turning it into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use as that earth energy and that cosmic gold fill up those spaces and those places where that childhood trauma was stored, giving us a new reality, a new perspective, a new way to walk, behave, and see things much clearer, so that we move forward and take action on our journey. As this essence then begins to move throughout our body, this combination of 15% earth and 85% cosmic gold. The earth is a color that resonates with you, moving, pumping through our bodies, our cells, our bones, our ligaments, our veins, our arteries, our systems, our organs, our skin, our hair, our nails, our nervous system, our eyeballs, our eardrums, our teeth, our tongue, our hair follicles, and our fingernails, and all that is contained within. As this essence moves out dis-ease and illness, moves out insecurity, moves out worry, doubt, and fear down into Mother Earth as she turns it into positive, creative life force energy. See that garden grow around you that is transmuting the negative energy that is moving out of you, that no longer serves and is in Mother Earth. Now this beautiful garden is growing all around you, one that not only sustains you, but your environment. It's a beautiful garden of love. It welcomes you as your energy transmutes and begins to sprout out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras. Work it out. There's things coming in and things going out. Get clear on what it looks like, what it feels like, because this energy and this essence is changing the film, your perception of how you view your life is changing for the better as you run negative energy out of your body, limiting beliefs, religious traditions that suppress and oppress. Move them out. They no longer serve you, and move in the God spark that raises your vibration to that of the Messiah. Moving out the worry, doubt, and fear in the prefrontal cortex, decalcifying the pineal gland, moving out the animalistic primal behaviors of the limbic system, and moving into a state of regulation and creativity, of unconditional love and knowing the solutions to life. And although they may be challenging, there's so much gratitude and joy running through our bodies, our minds, and our spirit as that portal between the center of our head and our heart opens, and we allow for the divine to work through us and communicate with us. And so now, as this essence is moving all throughout your body and your aura layer, visualize 2 roses outside your aura, to the right and to the left of you, 5 energetic feet away. And as you open the brow like the lens of a camera, you're going to clean out all the people, the places, and the things, because those roses represent universal transmuting negative energy into positive energy. They also represent protection. So as you open up your brow and you send all of the people, the places, and the things into those roses outside your aura, you're going to call all your energy back into that golden sun above your higher self, calling back all of the energy from your childhood where you were bullied, where you were being a people pleaser, where you wanted to belong. Bring back your authentic energy from those inauthentic exchanges. Bring back the energy from your schooling or lack thereof. Bring back your energy from investing and giving all to your children or your job or your career. Bring back all of the energy from doing the things you really fail to want to do. Or bring back all the energy from the people you believe you disappointed or that you failed. All those chemistry tests, the math that you may have not passed. Let all of that guilt go as you bring your energy back into that golden sun above your head. Your cells are pulsating with worthiness, safety, leadership, knowingness. So as you allow for anything that no longer serves you to move itself down into Mother Earth and contribute to that beautiful garden, you're going to go ahead and give those roses outside your aura layer an energetic push about 10 feet away from you. Energetic feet, that is. See them blow up, blow them up, turn them into fireworks, which represents positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. And as you take a deep breath in, on the exhale, visualize your higher self reaching up, pulling that sun down through itself as that beautiful 85% life force energy, gold, cascades down. Your higher self is moving that beautiful golden sun down through itself. And in the space between the higher self and your crown, this sun breaks into trillions of little atoms and cells as it moves into your body, merging with every atom and every cell in your body, in your aura layer, and in your grounding cord. And as that golden sun moves down the grounding cord, it chases those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles into the core of Mother Earth, turning them into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. As those cells merge with all parts of you, bringing so much love, unspeakable beauty, working out that polarity and giving you the focus and the leadership to fulfill your purpose on this journey. So now you see yourself for who you are, that God spark here to add value to your life and to mankind. So now, take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, you're going to close your brow chakra like the lens of a camera. As you sit in the center of your head, it's clean, clear, and filled with gold light. And there's nothing but you and a comfortable place to sit in a beautiful golden room. And take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, you close your feet chakras and you see that beautiful earth energy that was of a color that resonated with you. Descend back down, right below your soles. So you walk on that sunshine of Mother Earth and her love for you, having access to that energy at any moment. I'm going to take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, close your hand chakra and your crown chakras. allowing for that cosmic gold life force energy to ascend back up into the heavens, just right above you, to where your higher self hears those messages and you have access to that healing, loving energy at any time. Take a deep breath in. Allow for all of this love and unspeakable beauty to settle in, and this newness to take hold. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
And we're back. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. It was so powerful. And
Good, I'm glad.
and my toenails said to say thank you as well, because they don't normally
Yeah.
get much attention paid to them.
You know, they don't. They don't. So
They're at the
get it
wrong
in the
end.
toenails.
Yeah.
We got the fingernails in there too.
Yeah. 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 No, they loved it. Thank you. So,
Yes,
but no, that really felt very, very powerful. It felt very, very good. And it kind of so
like,
much in alignment with today's show as well. So thank you, Jolé.
absolutely.
And now we're in wrap up mode, right?
Correct.
So, first off, just to say thank you to the community for all your comments today, for all your inclusion in what we're doing here. Truly, truly appreciate having you with us on the journey. Tomorrow, the newsletter goes out with the edited version of this show, and we'll start to include those breakout videos as well. Anybody that wants to be on the distribution list or any inquiries in general, to John Drew at elevatedplanet.life. And for questions for Jolé as well, same place, because we field them all between us.
Yes.
And yeah, we're always interested to hear from anybody. But what else do we need to add?
Just again, we want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe, especially if this show resonates with you, as we could use this, the bump in viewership.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever I love doing the show. I love learning so much every week. We're on this journey together. That's what I love about it. So the more we can share this out, the wider we can make this community, the more we spread the love. And this is a time where it's all due now. It's all happening. We know that activation level is coming back up through the earth to kind of trigger that little God spark kind of energy in everybody, for those who are ready for it. But if you don't know what's going on, then you're kind of at a disadvantage. So it's good to be able to share this to those who are ready, acknowledging fully that there are plenty out there who are not ready. So that is completely understood as well.
Mhm.
So, I was going to say as well, next Thursday we will do the Pam Gregory guided meditation, and thank you to those who joined us for last week. It's always a lot of fun doing it, and again, whether you can do it live or whether you come on later or do it any day of the week, because it sits there all week long for people to use, because it's a daily kind of spiritual practice that Pam has created. We just happen to focus on the Thursday, so it's there every day for anybody who wants to access it on our channel. You're very, very welcome to do so. And yeah, I think that's about it. Would you say, Jolé?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Truly appreciate you. Love you loads. And thank you. And we will see you in a few days' time.